Hey, what's up, guys? It's TastyMeatChunks here. And today, I feel like we've been talking about too many good games. Today, I want to talk about a real stinker, a real piece of shit. That's right, today we're going to be talking about Fragpunk. Now, when I saw the trailers for Fragpunk, I thought, that looks kind of cool, and then didn't think anything of it. And then realized, oh, right, that's a game that I can play. So I got in the beta by requesting access and getting it within a few hours, because no one really wants to play this shit. And if I were to put it into words, Fragpunk is like if CSGO was a racing game. It would be like a racing sim, or like Forza, like a very realistic racing game, right? But also really well polished and pretty fun. And then your Valorants and your Rainbow Six Sieges, they'd be a bit more of the like arcadey racer, right? Think like your Need for Speed or like your Burnout kind of. Still fun games in their own right, but a little bit less serious, a little bit more silly, goofy stuff in there, and people might still take them really seriously, but they don't have quite the same tone, right? Fragpunk is like Mario Kart to those, but not like Mario Kart, like the off-brand, half-assed, terrible Mario Kart ripoff. This is like a Garfield cart. Fragpunk is not a good game. Honestly, the thing it reminded me of the most while playing it was honestly kind of Concord, because the actual execution of like the gunplay and the polish in the game isn't that bad, but it's just kind of the general design and conception of the game is so ass that I'd be amazed if this game can ever find a solid audience. There's a lot of little things that need to be talked about when it comes to Fragpunk. The most apparent thing and the thing that made me stop playing the game is the voice lines fucking suck.
Call me Mr. Watercolor because I'm feeling streaky.
What the fuck did you just say? Sneaky, sneaky.
Call me Mr. Watercolor.
Because I'm feeling streaky. What does that even mean?
I think it's better if you don't know.
I feel like the only way to read that is someone who just shit their pants. And they never shut up. There's a character that has 10 grenades he can throw.
Fuck.
I'm an excavator. It's a kind of bomb. I'm an excavator. I like to make a kind of bomb collage. I'm an excavator. Another
Spotted.
thing
Why 10? I don't fucking know. So what the fuck is Fragpunk? 'Cause there's a good chance if you're watching this video from my other stuff, you don't know. It's basically Valorant, but there's like a burn card system, kind of like in Titanfall, but it's like randomized. So your team gets these points throughout the rounds, and they get to use those points to unlock cards that have like wacky modifiers on them, right? And it's in this weird middle ground where the wacky modifiers aren't quite wacky enough to be interesting, but they're not competitive enough to make the game feel balanced. You don't get to choose like a set loadout of cards that you want to bring with you into games. It's just all of them, and the more you level up, the more cards you get. So it kind of just feels unfair, and most of them are just boring ass stat increases. The one-off funny or interesting ones being kind of not that great. I don't know, it's kind of just a bad game and a badly executed mechanic. You know, when I saw the trailers for this game, I thought all the cards would be like crazy bullshit. And sometimes they are, but not that often. Which means the game kind of plays out the same way. Also, this is a weird case where it's not a game that's so generic that it's bad. It's a game that's trying to do too much, but just doesn't really stick the landing. Like the maps. The maps are boring, bland, and kind of just uninteresting. If you're gonna have this crazy of a mechanic in the game, I'm assuming you're gonna have that crazy of maps as well. They're just kind of the same. The character designs, they're more visually appealing than Concord, but they all have like this weird AI generated look to them almost. And aside from that, they just kind of feel really like Gooner gamey. What the fuck is that? The pink fluffy cat girl. like just kind of gross to look at. They kind of just make me feel uncomfortable or weird, or they just have the most fuck-ass haircut I've ever seen in my life. Why the fuck did Spider have a like Jedi rat tail? What the fuck is this? And then on top of that, the characters themselves are also really boring. I don't know, I was kind of expecting some more crazy shit in here than just the generic tactical shooter staples. So we have a system that's kind of interesting, but then on top of all of that, we also have the fact that they fucked up the buy system.
Ban and pick. Do you need further explanation? No, you don't.
I'm glad that you continue to give me further explanation, even though we're both in agreement that we don't need it.
Now they get to pick cards.
Jesus Christ. Ah! Shut up!
You're gonna pick a card out just for me? Aww.
I don't think I can make it through this game.
Now they pick cards, and your card.
She's
Easy
still
out of
fucking
Chinese.
talking. She's still fucking talking. She's still fucking talking.
Collection begin.
So in basically every game that is in the tac shooter market, right? If there is a buy system, they all kind of follow the same rules because Counter-Strike perfected the buy system. This game has a buy system where you can buy any gun at any point, but you can only buy one of each gun. This is such a terrible idea because it means that the longer the game goes, the worse your loadouts become. Yeah, sure, you can econ and try and tactically spend your points here and there, but that doesn't change the fact that round one, someone can be opping, and then they can get a card that lets them buy the op again. This isn't really a competitively viable system, and it's also not a very fun system. It just feels frustrating and unintuitive, and that's every element of this game. Before every round starts, you need to first finish watching the kill cam and the stupid ass highlight that happens every single fucking round. Then you need to reselect your character, reselect what cards you're bringing with you, reselect your gun, your secondary, and then get things like the bomb or get to certain points to set up for the game to start. That's too much shit. And on top of that, the buy time is like nothing. It makes it really hard to think about what you want to do because it's expecting you to do all of this in like 30 seconds. That's not enough time to build a coherent strategy. So you end up picking whatever the fuck everyone else is picking, whatever best gun you've got there, and whatever best agent you've got left on the table. I'm not calling them what they call them in the game. It's too dumb.
Glue Knight can change the rules of reality itself.
Sorry, I can't get past that
Cards
dog
made of
ass
Glue Knight
name.
Put that power right in
Glue
your
Knight?
hands.
Is that like the shitty Hollow Knight
Target
sequel?
mercenary. But for Lancers,
Hollow Knight if it's gonna get sticky. And then all this is to drop you into some generic ass map where you're gonna have a miserable fucking time. On top of all of this, there's just a bunch of bullshit in the game. The most enjoyable part of the entire game is how it deals with tiebreakers. I would be down to just play this mode permanently, because what it does is it has you pick a slot 1 to 5. And then each of those players are basically chucked in a 1v1 gulag like they're playing Warzone, and they just have to see if they can run the gauntlet. Their health doesn't reset between these rounds. They just get their abilities and the gun they choose, and they get a go for it. That's such a cool and interesting idea. And it's also really silly. It feels like the rest of the game should have gotten a bit more of the sauce that this specific interaction has, but it didn't. The rest of the game kind of just feels sterile. It's really annoying because there are some really funny and cool and novel ideas thrown in here. But at the end of the day, I really feel like this could have just been like a limited time game mode in Valorant, and it probably would have been a really well liked one. But it's also just, does it stand on its own enough for me to come back to it? Fuck no. I could barely get 2 days in playing this game. I had multiple chatters and the person I was playing with switch the game to Chinese so they could understand it less.
You sensed my genius, didn't you? Oh, a fellow artist. You sensed my genius.
Why does he need to say that every time?
I took Zenith's advice, and this game is a lot better
In
Chinese.
Chinese?
I cannot express it harder.
Because the voice lines of characters are just that fucking annoying. See, me personally, I know a passing amount of Chinese, so I can't do that. So instead, I just turned off the voice lines altogether, and honestly, it made the game much more enjoyable. Also, because the game is so generic and still trying to do the competitive bullshit, right? There's these annoying character designs that just don't feel remotely balanced. What the fuck, man? I hate this character so much. Well, the rest of the character designs feel way too generic and samey to be that interesting. I feel like you either gotta make every character brokenly overpowered and stupid as shit and say fuck it to competitive balancing entirely, or you try and outdo Valorant at their own game, in which case you're probably not gonna do that, so that's a really dumb idea. That's like literally everything in this game. It's annoying, poorly thought out, poorly executed, obnoxious, hard to navigate, and confusing. It also kind of feels like Valorant for gambling addicts. Like, there's so many fucking gambling mechanics in the game. What can I buy with Goonite coins? I don't really think I can get anything. I can get sticker packs. Ah, I see.
Hold on, I need to buy
Let's use the sticker pack. Let's see what we got. Sweet, beautiful girl and lollipop. What the fucking AI is this, dude? Yo, there's a slot machine in this. There's a slot machine that drops you like a random gun most of the time in the unranked version of the game. There's a literal fucking slot machine in the game that you can get in-game currency out of. One of the few female characters in the game that isn't dressed up as like absolute fucking gooner bait has a skin in the battle pass that flips that shit on its head. What the fuck is that? This game feels like just weird. It makes me uncomfortable. Every element of it just feels strange, and I really don't enjoy playing it. Granted, there is the chance that this game just isn't built for me. I'm not the biggest tack shooter fan, but I've also played my fair share of games like Valorant and Siege and had my fun with them. So to be getting sick of this game within 2 days of playing it, that does not bode well for it. This game gets a uninstall it and hide it from my library out of 10. I don't even want to see the title of this game in my Steam library. That's how much I disliked it. I don't know if there are going to be people hyping this up, or if they see the writing on the wall that this is just going to be yet another fucking dead game. But all I'm going to say is if I ever met someone who's like, yeah, dude, I really fucking love Fragpunk, man. It's such a good game. I am thinking less of them. So, have a good Monday. This is Tasty Bomb Collage signing out. Fuck this game, man.